everybody, and welcome back to High School for Newbies. Last week we talked about lockers and the things you should and shouldn't keep in them and how they work and stuff. So this week, keeping in that theme of things that you need and need to know, we're going to talk about school supplies that you're going to need for high school, because up until now you've probably gotten detailed lists every year of what you need in the way of supplies. Yeah, for high school they don't do that, at least not before the school year starts. Usually about a week in, if not like a couple days in. Each teacher's on their own schedule, unfortunately. You don't get a set day for all of them. They'll probably give you supply lists for what they expect you to get for their class, but until they do that, yeah, you don't know shit. So, not only that, some of it is stuff they won't even list and they will expect you to have. So that makes things even harder, and I wish there was just a better system of this, but there's not. So anyway, there's the list of obvious stuff that's necessities, and there's optional stuff, and there's certain things that I'm not going to list that teachers are going to ask you for specifically, and there's no way for me to cover that because I don't know your teacher and I don't know what they expect for you. But generally, most stuff, I'd say 99% of stuff you need, and even stuff you don't need, is probably going to be in here. So let's cover it. Anyway, so in the necessities list, obviously you're going to need a backpack. You can get like an old school one. This is my Beatles one. But you can use the old school kind of backpack that goes on your back. You can get a messenger bag. Actually, those are more comfortable anyway, in my opinion. You can use a large tote bag. It's my NaNoWriMo one. But if you go with the tote bag route, make sure you have one with reinforced seams for the handles, or it's gonna rip in like your first month of school. And it'll probably wear out anyway, but at least tote bags are cheap. But it'll probably be the bottom if anything goes out. But I use mine as my library bag. But yeah, I get about 20 books at a time, so it's pretty fucking sturdy. Anyway, you can use those. You can even use like a really big purse if you want to. My sister does that. There's all sorts of options. So anyway, obviously need a backpack. Oh, you can do a rolling one if your school allows it, but some schools have gotten weird about those. But okay, so backpacks covered. If you're gonna bring lunch instead of buying your lunch every day, which is totally cool, I went ahead and did that because I don't think I ever once bought lunch. You're gonna need either paper bags or a lunch bag, lunch box, whatever. Obviously, we all know what those are, so most of the stuff we all know what they are, but for the sake of visual interest, I collected up from my room most of the stuff, since, yeah. Anyway, you're gonna need your school ID card, which you probably should have gotten during orientation. If you didn't, you'll probably get it like your first day or first week of school in a very organized fashion, I'm sure. But every school handles it differently, so sometimes they even mail them out depending on your school. But yeah, ours were usually during packet pickup or whatever it is for during registration at the beginning of the year, so we got it before our first day of school since we had to take the pictures and stuff. You'll obviously need, if you're taking gym, you'll need your gym uniform, so obviously the shorts, the shirt. If they allow for sweatshirts and sweatpants, awesome, get those too. Sometimes they're part of the uniform, sometimes they just allow you within certain guidelines to wear your own, like under the shorts and shirt. Again, it depends on the school. Ours was weird about that, but obviously you need gym shoes and gym socks, so there's that. You'll need a binder reminder or a day planner. Either one works just as good, but most schools have their own that they give out at the beginning of the school year, and it usually has like the general school guidelines and a map of the school and weird random stuff in there, so it's probably better than a day planner. So if you have one of those for free, awesome, don't bother getting a day planner because it's the same exact thing and it'll probably have more room to write stuff. So for your textbooks, chances are you will need book covers. If you know how to fold them from like paper bags, awesome. You can do it out of wrapping paper too. Otherwise, you can buy them, or you can buy the fabric ones. I'm a fan of the fabric ones personally, but they're pricier, so be aware of that. But they hold up pretty well. They serve their purpose. So there's that. If you're crafty, you could probably even make book covers, like knit or crochet them or something, or sew them, whatever. Basically, you have to keep your book from being damaged, or they'll charge you for it, and those things are expensive, so you don't want to be charged for that. Number 2 pencils, basically the non-mechanical kind, goes without saying. Get a bunch of those. Mechanical pencils and lead refills. You can get the plain kind that are just straight up. It is a mechanical pencil, it is what it is, whatever. You can get the cutely colored girly ones that are sparkly. You can get the ones that have pencil grips built onto them. I know, I have a problem when it comes to office supplies, but I'm a writer, so I always have this stuff around. You do not want to know how many pencils I have in this, but anyway, yeah, those and refills of lead. You'll probably only need 1 box of lead refills to last you the year. Maybe 2 if you use them a lot, but chances are 1 will do you just fine, and possibly even into next year. But yeah, think of mechanical pencils and lead. Ballpoint pens in black and blue. Here's your blue. Here's your black. You want to go with the straight up, just standard black and blue shades. You don't want to get all fancy and have like a weird turquoisey sky blue pen that writes literally the color that this is. I got into so much trouble for these when I was in high school that you don't even know. Oh my god, like, I think I had 1 teacher that allowed me to, and then I pushed my luck, because once I got away with that, I moved on to purple. And when they still didn't say anything at purple, I moved on freaking hot pink, and then they didn't let me use any of these 3 anymore, and they said I'd use the boring ones. But, yeah, it sucks. So, for regular assignments and things, just use the plain ones, save yourself the hassle. I mean, there's a time and place for the bright and colorful ones, like for note-taking and stuff. Things like that, they really have no say in, so, yeah, there's that. Also, you could get a couple of red ones. I also happen to have a box of reds, so. But, because some teachers will have students, like, correct each other's tests, and they want you to use red for that. So, it's good to have, like, 1 or 2 of those. You can usually get an individual pack of those. I have entire boxes of all the different colors because I'm a writer, and for different characters I use different colors when I write in script format, so if you were wondering why I have so damn many, that's why. But, anyway. College ruled notebooks. I mean, pretty straightforward. Get as many pages as you can. I like the ones that have, like, 180, 200 pages in them, and make sure they are college ruled. College ruled is the one that looks like, if you can see it, I don't know, that. Yes. So you're going to need a bunch of those. I would say, to be on the safe side, get 1 for each subject, except for gym, obviously. In addition to those, you might want to grab some composition books, you know, the ones that just look like this. Sometimes I used to use them for note-taking separate from the notebooks for each class. So if that's what you're using them for, it really doesn't matter if it's college ruled or wide ruled. I think these are wide ruled that I have. I just bought these last week. But they also make cute ones now, too. They're all decorative. They're otherwise exactly the freaking same as these, but they're cuter, and I had to have them, so yeah, there's that. Pencil sharpener with the built-in top for your non-mechanical pencils, so the ones that'll collect the shavings in here and you can just open it up and dump it in the trash. Yeah, mine's old, so I mean, it's worn out. It still works, so I don't care, but yeah, that one is about as old as my youngest sister, so. One of those large pink erasers, like the bar ones, they're like about that big. One of those, or the white ones, they work about the same. Actually, I prefer the white ones. Sorry, but, yeah, get one of those. Have an eraser pen. Actually, I'm a much bigger fan of these, but some teachers are really picky about the stupid eraser bar, so just have one each. They're cheap, you can get them, no big deal, but for most intents and purposes, I prefer eraser pens. So one of those, and some refills, because with an eraser pen, you will need refills for sure. highlighters. Everybody knows what highlighters look like, so if you're just using them for regular highlighting purposes, you probably just need the yellow kind that everybody and their grandma has. If you're like really super organized about your notes and things, get the 4-packs that have the yellow, orange, green, and pink in them, and do what you will with them. I can't tell you how to use your highlighters, so yeah. Could have sworn I brought scissors over here, but it really doesn't matter because we all know what scissors look like. It's just bothering me if I don't know where they went. I'll worry about it later. So, okay, you're gonna need scissors. You can get the long ones, you can get the short ones, really doesn't matter. Short ones are more portable, long ones work better. It's up to you. So, a set of colored pencils. You may or may not need to actually bring those to school. You may just like leave those either in your locker or at home for working on projects where you have to like do diagrams with things and use colors. Especially like science usually asks for that. But if you're in an art class, they're probably going to want better than Crayola. If you're not in an art class, Crayola's probably fine. So, those. Notebook paper, college ruled again, or they'll get on your ass for it. A ruler, regular, standard ruler. A few 3-ring binders. I mean, we all know what they look like. They can be the heavy-duty plastic ones. They can be the flimsy, bendy ones. But yeah, as long as they have the 3 rings, you're good. It really doesn't matter. The only place where it will matter is if you have a teacher who's a total bitch about it. It's like, I want you to have a 3-inch 3-ring binder, or whatever size specification they want, in which case you're probably gonna have to go to an office supply store to find it, because good luck finding one anywhere else. I never even saw a 3-inch 3-ring binder until I went to an office supply store, so apparently they make 4-inch too, which just, I don't even know. Yeah. So, a pencil box. I mean, probably you don't need one this big, but I'm insane. You probably just need one like that. But again, I am not normal, so I go all out when I do stuff. Or alternately, you can get one of those pencil pouches that just zips up and zips shut, whatever, and has the 3-ring binder holes in them, so you can just stick it in your binder. But then the problem is, unless you're gonna have one for each binder, you're not gonna have your stuff, so I just prefer boxes, because that's me. But yeah. Also, folders. We all know what folders are, but they're pretty, so ooh, look at the pretty. Yay, pretties. But sorry, I just went shopping last week, so as long as they have the pockets in them anyway. I like the bottom pocket ones. But oh hey, found the scissors. But anyway, yeah. Folders, you can put them in the binders, you can keep them out of the binders, it really doesn't matter, and you may feel like you don't even need them, but personally I prefer to keep homework stuff in the binder, or not in the binder, I can talk, keep the homework stuff in the folders, and everything else in the binders. And when it's old homework you're getting back, or tests you're getting back, in the binder. Anything else that is current for that day that you're either turning in or you're going to bring home, in the folder. Easy enough. Will make things so much easier when you're digging through stuff trying to find your assignments quickly. So, seems stupid until you get there and have to do it. A calculator, which if you just need a normal old school one, chances are the tools section of your phone has one built into it. Like so. Even my old school phone has a calculator built into it. So as long as you're not in one of the upper math classes that needs a graphing calculator, or a scientific calculator, or whatever kinds of calculators they ask for, I don't know. I failed remedial math, so I never got to the upper math classes. I don't even know. But yeah. As long as they don't need one of those, you're probably fine with the one that comes built in on your phone, unless your teacher is weird about you using your phone during class, in which case just get a really El Cheapo calculator. But at this point I think teachers are getting better about phones in classes and have figured out that they actually have a place. So, yeah, there's that. And even when it comes to the scientific ones, there's probably an app for those now. I could be wrong, but I would assume on smartphones they probably make them. Again, I wouldn't know because I've never had a reason to need them. So, yeah, that. It's probably a lot cheaper than buying a scientific one too, because those are pricey. So, glue sticks or those liquid glue pen things. Actually, I like those better. So those, a bottle of Elmer's glue, some Scotch tape, those mini staplers, the little itty bitty ones that are really that big, and the staples to go in them. Those are handy to have. For at home, you're going to need printer paper and ink cartridges, obviously, because you're going to have to print out a lot of homework. Nowadays, they're getting fancy with school. We didn't have these when I was going there. Well, I guess they made them, but we didn't use them. But, USB sticks, I mean, this one is 32 gigabytes, probably bigger than you'll realistically need for school, but depending what classes you're in, maybe. But sometimes teachers will ask you to put your presentations on a drive. It just pops open, has the USB thing. So you stick it on there, you bring it to school, have your presentation ready to go on a USB stick. Woohoo! Yeah, there's that. Especially with computer classes, you can take your assignments back and forth from home and not lose your progress. So those are always a good thing. This one's not really a requirement, but I would highly suggest having it. But a library card that is up to date and functional, that you're not like maxed out on with debts or anything, which I know your school has a library, but a lot of times they won't have stuff that you want in them. So public library card in addition to your regular school ID library card. So they're generally free unless you don't have one at all and you live in a cheap city like mine that requires $5 to get one, but aside from that, they're free, so, okay. Upper math classes, I think they want, like, protractors and compasses and things. I don't have those, so you're gonna have to just know what those look like. If you're taking a foreign language, you'll probably need one of those foreign language dictionary books. If the class doesn't provide it, I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Depending on the science classes you're in, sometimes they'll want you to have like a science or biology dictionary, sometimes not. Again, don't buy these unless your teacher tells you that you need them, because otherwise you're just buying stuff to be buying stuff. Again, with the upper math classes, graphing calculator, if they tell you you need one, or scientific, if they tell you need one. Don't buy one if they don't say you need one, because they're hell of expensive, so. Graphing paper, obvious enough what that is, even though I don't have any on me. I think they usually use that in, like, calculus, maybe, I don't know. Otherwise, sometimes they get used in science, sometimes they're used in art, sometimes they're used in all sorts of different things, so. Obviously you're gonna need a home computer or a laptop at home. I would show you mine, but I have it propped up on stuff, and if I move it, I'm afraid I'm gonna make it fall. A reliable alarm clock, which, again, you usually don't think of in terms of school supplies, but think about it. How many times have you woken up late for school? So, I mean, one way around it, just, again, with your phone, there's always an alarm clock function built into it, so you can just use that and save yourself some extra cash right there. In addition to these, some of the more optional stuff that you don't really need it, but it's really nice if you do have it. 3-ring hole punch, because I mean the singular ones. Good luck getting it to match up with the binder every single time, and for how much extra time it takes. Fuck that. Just go in, put the paper in, snap, done. So much better. I am definitely glad I bought one of these when I was a teenager. I still use it to this day. And even better if they're fancy, like mine, and have the little thingies down the side. Mine's stuck because it's old, but Well, okay, one of them doesn't want to pop up. Wait, there it goes. Okay. The little thingies in the back, you can swing them out and stick it in the binder and have it right there ready to go. Boom, 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 boom. All your hole punching needs right there at ease. So, there's that. They come cheap. You can get them pretty much anywhere. So, there's that. Those tabbed binder dividers, chances are you'll have at least one teacher ask for them. I'd be very surprised if you don't. But, yeah, I would get the ones with, like, unless they tell you otherwise, get the ones with 5. Some of them will want the 8, but usually 5 is sufficient. So, yeah, like I said, unless they say otherwise, just get 5 and you're good. But, or 6. 6 is good too. Have an extra, doesn't matter. But, yeah, you can get the ones that are, like, made out of cardstock that you just write directly on, or you can get the plasticky, clearish ones that you slip the pieces of paper into for the subjects of each tab, and then you can reuse them at the end of the year after you slide those out and put a new one in. So actually, those are the better investment, but they cost a little more going into it, but if you're going to use them all 4 years, why not save the money the first time, right? Right, so there's that. If you don't have any teachers ask for them, they're still good to have as far as just organizing the stuff in your binders goes, so you can come up with your own system, even if they don't ask. So, there's that. Index cards. You will have at least one teacher ask you to have them, even if you don't, but I assure you you will. They're good for studying, but usually you'll have at least one teacher when it comes to finals or midterms say that any notes you want for the test, if you can fit it onto a single index card, you can have it for the test. So you need to have index cards. It is pretty much a necessity, but even if it's not, you can use them for study aids. So there's that. These are totally optional, but I just like them and it made note-taking more fun for me. But gel pens, I would suggest the Jelly Roll brand just because they write smoother and they don't clog up as much as like the really cheap off-brand ones do, because nothing is worse than going to use one or you start to use one and it clogs in the middle of going with it and having to stop everything and try and undo the clog, which yeah, you really can't do it at school because to unclog those you need a lighter, so yeah, you can't do that at school. But yeah, Jelly Roll brand is really good, and there's a couple other ones that I can't think of the names of right now, but they're more just, not necessarily the colorful ones, but they're still gel pens, but they write really nicely, so there's some in plain colors too, like blue and black, that you could probably use for everyday stuff if you wanted to, but they're more expensive again, so I mean, I would just use them for note-taking. Sharpies, both the regular ones and the fine-tipped ones. My Sharpie package just blew up on me. That's embarrassing, but I'll just jam them back in here. Again, this is more of a you don't really need it. It's just kind of fun to have them, and it's fun to have an excuse to say that you need them. But I like the colorful ones. I've had these for quite a while, and they still all work amazingly, even though I use them a lot. Even though it says fine tip, these are the average ones. I mean, aside from chisel tip, I think these are average. But I would get those and the fine tipped ones that they call extra fine, but whatever. The ones with the tip like that. Just for whatever. Trust me, you'll find a use for them. So there's those. Even if you're not in art, drawing paper you're probably going to need for some project at some point down the line, but obviously if you're in an art class you're really going to need it, and as well as probably other stuff that your teacher will tell you what you need. Similarly, for projects, stuff that you wouldn't typically think of, but if you're a more creative type, you can work with construction paper, especially for science stuff if you want to really make it pop. Especially if you're good with like an X-Acto knife and can do dioramas and shit like that. I was always good at that, so. What else? Oh yeah, it is similarly with Sharpies. You can also get thick markers, which are like Sharpies and work basically exactly the same as Sharpies, but you get more of them in more colors. And they also have the super fine tip on them. Yeah, I left one out to show you guys because I'm using it for something, but they have a cool way they open up even. I just mostly want an excuse to show these suckers off because I really like them. And of course, it's being a difficult little thing. Okay. I like it. Everything just keeps popping out at me today. But, yes. The one side opens, and then there's a whole other tray. There's like 3 frigging trays of markers in there. Well, not markers, but pens. Permanent pens. They call them markers, I call them pens. But similarly, also for stuff like science homework where you have to do colored things for diagrams, just regular run-of-the-mill markers are good to have on hand. Just like, I don't know, one of the cheapo 10 or 12 packs of Crayolas. It really doesn't matter because you're not going to need them a lot, but there's a few things you'll need them for, so I mean, that's an option too. If you're in an art class, they will tell you what else you specifically need depending on your class. So I can't really help you there because I don't know which one you're in, so I don't know what you need. But your teacher will, so they can tell you what you're going to need, and you'll probably have to go to a craft store to get those. Rubber bands are good to have. You'll never know when you're going to need one. I mean, you can find rubber bands anywhere, and cheap, so... water bottles are good. You can go with plastic, you can go with the stainless steel kind if you're worried about BPA poisoning. Doesn't matter, but usually water is the only drink that most teachers will let you have during class. So it's good to have water bottles, and it's probably better to have a reusable one so you don't have to keep buying them all the time and wasting money on that. So, sorry again. Similarly, even if you don't use all of them during your high school years, those plastic page protectors, if you don't use them during your high school years, you will use them during your college years. So they're a good investment, even though, again, they're pricey too, but you'll need them. Trust me, you're gonna need them. I should have put that in the necessary list. I don't know why I put it in optionals. Okay, so there's those. For certain projects, you'll be asked to buy poster boards. I can't give you specifics. Your teacher will tell you what size, what color, whatever you need. But at some point in your high school career, trust me, at least one teacher is going to tell you you need to get poster boards. So don't stock up on that yet, but know that at some point you will have to buy some. These are kind of an antiquated thing nowadays in the age of the internet, but a dictionary and a thesaurus, even though you can totally just go to dictionary.com or thesaurus.com, but in the absence of having the internet at your disposal, if you have one of those, like, travel-sized ones with you, not the pocket-sized, one size up from that, but, those are good to have on hand if you can't use the internet in class, which I don't know of a whole lot of classes where you can, although that seems to be changing from what my sister claims, so there's that. Also in the optionals would be post-it notes and post-it note flags. I mean, post-it notes are obvious enough, the little squares. The flags are little. They're only like maybe like this tall perhaps, and like that long. And generally the idea is you make a note on them and stick them in the edge corner, or not corners, but like on a book. Say these are where your pages are, obviously. You would stick them on the edge right here, so it sticks out some and you can see it and you know to turn to that page for whatever note. And you can use another one on that same page of whatever spot it is you're trying to make the note of, if you didn't make a note already on the thing. So, again, it's an optional, but it's really nice to have now that they make them and they're getting cheaper, so that's always good. So, with the note-taking, I know I touched on it earlier, but colored ballpoint pens, They're really nice. I mean, you can get whole boxes of them, like in one color. I've got purple, I've got green, I've got pink. Or you can get a set of these. These are newer, I think. Crystal Bolds. I mean, they write the colors that the lids are. This is like my second thing of them that I just got since some of my old ones ran out. But, they're really nice. So those are also good for note-taking. Or you can use my favorites that I already showed earlier. The old school crystals. I love my big crystals. Even though you cannot see this one, I don't know why they made this one. It just looks cool alongside the others. So, although good luck finding them because they kind of went out of production after a while. So I stocked up big time on them because I love them. So there's that. Again, this one's totally optional, but if you're a germaphobe like I am, hand sanitizer. You can get Purell, you can get Bath & Body Works, which is what mine is. This one is Paradise Coconut, but I literally have over 100 of these little bottles in my desk because they go quick. I mean, you see how tiny this is? I mean, within like a day or two during like flu season, you will go through the entire bottle if you're as liberal as I am with them. So, either get a bunch of those, or some of the bigger ones of Purell, or whatever. You don't need the ginormous size ones or anything. I mean, you need to be able to carry it around on your person, so I mean, the small size is good, but stock up on them in whatever sense you want. If you do Bath & Body Works, they have tons upon tons and tons of different scents and things, and they change with the time of year. I mean, I think the nicest ones are out, like, during fall. Not winter, but the autumn ones, because they're all cinnamony and nice, and I'm a big fan of these. I'm also a huge germaphobe, so there's that. I think they're necessary. Other people swear to never touch those, but I have a compromised immune system. For me, they're necessary. Lots of people just like to have them, so I'd say get at least a few. So, that. Paper clips. We all know what paper clips look like, and I don't have any on me, so. Poster paper and poster paints. These are another one of those things you probably want to wait till you have the specific project that requires them before investing in them. Unless if they're like on sale, in which case you just want to stock up, be my guest. The little thingies, the Kleenex, the wrapped plastic ones that like fit in your purse. Get one of those. They're good for your makeup. They're good for, you know, what they're actually made for. They're good for lots of stuff, so it's just good to have them. So, yeah, I know you probably haven't seen a school list since probably elementary school that required them, but they're just good to have. Optional, pricey, but I would say worth it if you're taking a foreign language. Get one of those electronic translators. I'm starting to run out of things to put on this list. Accordion folders. You don't need these at school, but at home, like when you get tests back and you're done with old notes and things, put them in the accordion folders and keep them. Because when it comes to midterms time and finals time, trust me, you're going to be thankful you kept those. You're going to be very thankful you kept them. Because often those are going to be the things that you're studying from. And at the end of the school year, if you find out one of your friends is going to take the same class you just took, give them the folder, and hey, they already have a precursor to the class and they can study up and be ahead of the game. So that's another little pro tip there. Whiteout or liquid paper, either like the bottle kind that you just brush on or the pen kind. I'm not a big fan of the little tape rollery thing, just because it's really finicky in how it wants to work, and God help you if the thing gets twisted. And yeah, so I don't like the pen tape thing. I like the ones with the squeezy bottle pen or the brush bottle. Those kinds are good. They're tried, true, they work. So as long as they don't get clogged or dried up. But yeah, the tape kind can't dry up, but there's a lot else that can go wrong with it. So Yeah, I just don't like that thing. But that's just me. That's just me. You can use it if you want to, but I don't personally like it. And last thing I can think of, I probably should have mentioned it with the lunchbox thing. If you do bring your own lunch, you should also get a freezer pack or two to throw in there to keep your food cold, or your drinks cold. Whatever. But yeah, it's good to have one of those. It's not a necessity unless you're bringing something super perishable like an egg salad, although I don't know why you would bring egg salad to school, but yeah, it's just good as an aside to have it. So anyway, those are about all the things I can think of going into it that you're probably gonna need. If there's anything else, your teacher will tell you. So I hope that's helped you. And tune back in next week for the next installment of High School for Newbies.